K6 just has like all the reads just going in. Yeah, I expect that's. Oh my gosh. Yes, he pops the critical edge. He knows Monocaros was desperate to get out of there, and he was just able to pop that critical edge for anything to make contact. That's gonna take the game. K-Strick with 2-0 over Monocaros.
So that's me in January 2019, commentating a Soul Calibur 6 tournament being ran out of my buddy's backyard. I'm also doubled up on stream duty by updating our very professional scoreboard and monitoring our very active Twitch chat. Simpler times. Anyways, fast forward 5 years later, and
This is Rialto's last stand.
Did they block?
Got
No,
the
Sky
super!
didn't.
Yo, anyone can die at any given moment here.
Anybody's game right now.
Oh,
the dive
Sky!
Into the assist!
And Sky has done it. Mohican Sky Kisek is your BB Tag EVO 2024 Community Showcase champion. Canada is in the building.
this is also me, commentating BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle Top 6 at EVO 2024. Huge stage, bright lights, and just having an opportunity to talk about my favorite fighting game while some of the best battle it out on stage. As awesome as this was, EVO commentary wasn't the end goal that I had in mind in January 2019. Sure, once I started taking commentary more seriously in 2020, EVO became a pipe dream, but in all honesty, I was commentating our local tournament in 2019 just because the tournament needed commentary, and since it was needed, I just did it. Today, I'm going to illustrate that getting into fighting game commentary really is that simple. You can just do it. And in today's day and age, there are a lot of resources, tools, and approaches you can use to your advantage to succeed at it and grow as a commentator. So if you want to know how to go from commentating on a crispy $10 microphone from Amazon in your friend's backyard to being able to get hired for commentary work at majors or regionals, here are 5 steps you can follow to help you get started in commentary within the fighting game community. Now, the first thing you want to do is identify what type of commentary you want to do. And by that, I'm not even talking about how you're going to say words, what your style is, or even how your voice sounds. I'm straight up talking from the ground level of which games do you want to commentate and where do you eventually want to take your commentary. Are you focused on one game or do you want to do multiple games? Personally, I suggest just focusing on one when starting out, but it's up to you. Are you online or offline based? Are you going to take this to a regional level or do you have your eyes set on majors? This may be a very straightforward question for some of you, and this may require a think tank session for others. For example, after deciding I wanted to give fighting game commentary a shot in 2020, I got into commentary solely as a BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle commentator, and my goal was to eventually work myself up to being able to commentate majors once the pandemic was over. You really want to have a direct focus and grasp of what games you want to commentate, because that's going to allow you to make refinements and adjustments to fit the big picture. Just saying, I want to commentate EVO isn't good enough. What do you want to commentate at EVO? Now, this game and this goal doesn't have to be something you're riding or dying with. We're humans. We grow and we change, and with that, your goals can adapt to where you're at in life and what you're interested in. But for now, find your focus so you can know what type of gigs to look for. You can build up a commentary role that is centered around that focus, and most importantly, master your craft through repetition and refinement in doing the job. Now, some of you who are interested in commentating bigger titles are at this part of the video and you're rolling your eyes because you're like, how am I, a floating talking torso, going to tell you to set your eyes on becoming a Tekken World Tour commentator when names like Spag and Tasty Steve are so established, or to have goals aimed toward being a CPT caster when you got Vicious and James Chen not only being notable voices behind the mic for Street Fighter 6, but they're also in the damn game. Why waste the time trying to reach those levels? Well, the fact of the matter is that, yes, getting to that level of commentary is definitely for an elite few among hundreds, if not thousands of hopefuls who would like to claim those spots. It will take a lot of time, effort, and potentially even luck to be blessed with that type of position. However, those tall heights being hard to reach doesn't mean there aren't any pockets where you can fit as a commentator for a large game. Your regional needs commentators for these games. Your local needs commentators for these games. And in today's day and age, the dozens of online tournaments that are happening seemingly every day also needs commentators for these games. Start there and then work your way up to see where you can ultimately stand. It's really all about the journey and the process with these kinds of things. Now, the question that may follow here is, how do I find commentary positions? And there are a few different ways. Starting with your own local scene is not a bad idea. If you have a local that you frequent and they have a stream setup, just simply ask and see if they have any openings for you to hop on the mic. Listen, aside from being a commentator, I'm also a tournament organizer for my local scene, which is a pretty big one in Southern California. I'm sure every scene is different, but as far as what I see at my locals, we always have a need for people to do some commentary, especially if you're showing up as a dedicated commentator. Listen, it's not fully necessary to show up to a local as a fully dedicated commentators. Most commentators do naturally have a background in being competitors, and it's expected that at the local level, most of your commentary talent is going to be people that are in the bracket. But if you're wanting to make a craft out of this and maximize your experience, coming up to a TO and saying, I am free to commentate for however long, is likely going to be met with an enthusiastic yes. You're taking a huge load off their plate if you're willing to commentate. But not everybody has a local scene, and this process may not work across the board. So if offline fails as a starting ground, you're going to want to kick it to online. There truly are so many online tournaments nowadays for a wide assortment of games, and if there's going to be a stream, basically all of them are going to need commentary. I think the main way that most people get into fighting game commentary nowadays is via online tournaments. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can look for online commentary positions. The main way is going to be completely identical to how you'd find an online tournament for competing purposes, which would be either browsing StartGG or following a Discord server or Twitter account for a game or tournament series to know when upcoming events are happening. However, if this method fails you, I have a Discord server I want to share with you that will actually completely flip the roles of the act of looking for commentary spots. Rather than you looking for the commentary spots, what if you were in a server where the commentary spots are looking for you? That's where the Hot on Mic Discord server can come in handy. There are over 500 members in the server that's filled with not only commentators, but tournament organizers as well. Tournament organizers can use this server to ping rules for games that need commentators at their online events. All you'll need to do is self-assign the roles for the games you want pings for, and keep your notifications on to know when these positions are opening up. There are dozens of positions that are being posted here literally every week, so you should hopefully have an opportunity to find something that works for you through this server. Not to mention, this server is for more than just finding positions. There are a ton of resources available in the server, such as a channel for commentary critique, and a channel for linking commentary reels for promotion or feedback from the many different talented faces and voices that are in the server. Seriously, be sure to join the server and make good use of it. It's definitely worth your time. And just a super quick editor's note here, but I also want to say, once you find commentary positions, whether it be online or offline, try to stay consistent. Build a rapport with the tournament organizers you're working with and show that you're capable, available, and reliable. It's just generally a good quality to practice professionalism, but also, who knows? These tournament organizers you work with now may be beneficial down the line when you're applying for bigger or more contested commentary positions. Now let's say you've exhausted all these options. You can't find any local commentary, your StartGG research hasn't yielded any results for potential gigs, and you can't seem to find a commentary spot in the Hot on Mic server. Is the dream dead? Well, no, actually. There is one more idea you can try that I've resorted to in the past, and I don't actually hear a lot of people talk about when it comes to getting into commentary. Listen closely, because this one is a bit of a cheat code. You can host your own tournament and commentate your own tournament. Now, let's get the obvious out of the way. Yes, there are some barriers to entry when it comes to going this route. You need a way to stream, which is going to entail some type of decent computer and potentially capture card hardware if you're streaming a console game. Not only that, online tournaments as a solo venture can be rough if you're not experienced, so I wouldn't advise trying to take on stream production, bracket running, and commentary all at the same time by yourself if you lack experience. You're going to burn yourself out with all of those responsibilities, so you may need to find a partner or two to help lighten your load a bit. But so long as you're able to find a way to execute the bare minimum of maintaining a stream and running a bracket, then, buddy, it sounds like you've made yourself a commentary gig. Not only that, you've made yourself a commentary gig that you have full control over. There's no opportunity for you to not be available because you set the schedule. There's no way anyone can be picked over you because you can pick yourself. And if you find yourself needing another commentator, I just showed you how you could find commentators a couple of minutes ago. Is it all coming together for you? I mentioned my BB tag experience earlier, but another one of my main games that I commentate is Melty type Lumina. I was able to commentate MBTL at EVO this year as well, but I actually got into Melty type Lumina commentary through an online tournament series called the Heatwave, which was, you guessed it, my tournament series. For the most part, the duties were split between me and my buddy Paul Lay to allow for us to both manage, stream, call matches, run the bracket, and provide commentary. And naturally, the more brackets we were able to run, the more commentary experience we were able to get, where eventually I was able to build a commentary role that was solely using only in-house Melty type Lumina footage. And with that role, I was able to land commentary positions at big tournaments such as CEO Taku and Slashback. If you play a smaller game, hosting your own tournament to get more commentary experience is a galaxy brain cheat code, because more than likely, your scene needs more tournaments to be hosted anyways. So you'll be able to help the scene out by providing a platform for them to play, while also giving yourself valuable and consistent experience to refine your craft. And of course, if the time comes around where the game you support ends up at a major tournament, trust me, it happens, you'll have the benefit of your reel containing direct experience for the game, which is going to be a huge plus to make you stand out when applying for the commentary position. Believe it or not, there's even another layer of being able to at least get commentary experience beyond hitting up a local, going online, or hosting your own tournament. If you're pressed for getting some footage of yourself commentating, or even if you just want to practice commentary, there are quite literally thousands of online replays accessible via YouTube, or even via in-game replay systems for multiple games nowadays. You can utilize these replays as almost like stock footage that you can put your own commentary over. This is probably one of the lowest barriers of entry options you can possibly have for getting into commentary, as it doesn't require an event, doesn't require leaving your house, and can be practiced literally whenever you'd like. You just need a microphone, matchup footage, and a way to record yourself. It can maybe feel quite weird at first commentating yourself for a match that is not happening live, but this is a really solid way for you to build up your skills without needing an event to do so. This is almost like a commentator's training mode, if you will. Of course, for the purposes of creating a commentary role and applying for a commentary position, it is ideal that you have footage that is mostly, if not all, made up of live event commentary. But this method is better than nothing, and can at least keep you fresh in experience until you're able to get a gig going. Last but not least, I just want to mention this real quick while we're talking about online tournaments. Truly, you can commentate most, if not all, online tournaments with any microphone, and a webcam is not always necessary. This is fact. However, if you want to be a cut above in terms of quality and preparedness, I'd recommend investing into a decent webcam to enable your video capabilities, if you're comfortable being on camera, and an XLR microphone plus a mixer for improved audio quality. This is not a sponsored video, but I will at least link in the description the setup that I personally use for my webcam, microphone, and mixer, so you can have a general idea of what the price barrier of entry may be for these items. There are plenty of options available for both webcam and microphones, and again, this isn't a necessity, but if you're serious about your craft and you want to deliver the highest quality possible, these are purchases worth pondering. So we've now knocked out the barriers for entry when it comes to getting you into fighting game commentary. You have identified a game you want to commentate, you've found or created a scene you can do it for, and you've started yapping. Now let's talk about how you're going to sound. You'll notice that I'm only mentioning the style side of things when it comes to commentary only after I've mentioned how to start commentating in the first place. This is because I think it's very important that you just get experience first before you start worrying about something like how you sound. How can you figure out how to refine your sound if you don't have any examples of how you sound? Get out there and try it out first, and then start worrying about how you want to improve it. Going into commentary with a preconceived notion of what you're going to do or what you want to say can be a recipe for disaster if you're trying this out for the first time. So what I suggest doing is taking a tried and true approach to growing as a commentator in the same way that multiple people grow as competitors of these games. And that's by watching yourself, or in this case, listening to yourself. The cool thing about VOD reviewing as a commentator rather than a player is that you don't necessarily need the visual to extract value out of the review. The visual is useful, but not required. I've listened to my commentary during long drives multiple times. You are your best judge of yourself in terms of what sounds good and what needs some work, because ultimately, there is no right or wrong way to do commentary. Of course, depending on what type of commentary you're doing, there may be some general rules you may want to follow, such as making sure you're your voice is being projected and heard, giving your co-commentator room to speak, and
watch your profanity.
But beyond the basics, everything else is pretty subjective. You need to take the time to figure out what is your style. Inspirations and influences are great to have, trust me, but not every commentator needs to be a carbon copy of the original greats to precede them, because then the commentary isn't original anymore. You're going to be selling yourself short if you're only aiming for imitation. To give you a bit more direction, I'll outline a bit deeper about how I think about commentary. Because in my head, there are three main components that make up most, if not all, commentators: analysis, emotion, and storytelling. The way I look at these skills are like a spectrum. You don't want to only be the analysis person. People don't want to tune into somebody just spouting numbers and being a dust loop audiobook. You also don't want to only be the emotion person. If you're getting hype for everything, then nothing is hype anymore. And you don't want to only be the storytelling person. Listen, story mode is in the game, buddy. You don't have to take that on. What you do want to do is identify which of the three skills you specialize in. Play to that strength while also nurturing the other skills that make up a commentator. The reality is, you don't need to get an A+ rating on all of these skills either. Humans aren't perfect, and besides, that's what your co-commentator is for. You don't have to take this all on solo. In an ideal commentary pairing, your co-commentator can fill in and make up for the skills that you're not so comfortable with. It's important to establish rapport and chemistry with your co-commentator to make sure you aren't stepping over each other's toes. Try to get a good sense of the commentary component they specialize in, and do your best to mold and adapt around that. You can even have a discussion with your co-commentator before going live to get a sense of their background and establish a bit of rapport before hopping on the mic. This is very helpful and useful for both commentators. Now, as far as improving at any of one of these skills is concerned, focusing on them in isolation can prove to be beneficial. If your analysis game needs work, then it's likely coming down to needing more game knowledge, or needing to parse information faster as it appears on the screen. You can remedy this by simply playing more matches yourself, or asking players about what's happening and learning more about the game, and more importantly, how to talk about it. If you feel you want to convey more emotion, then you may have an issue with committing to the bit. If you're going to get hype, then get hype. Really commit to matching the energy levels of whatever just happened in the match to deliver a dynamite experience to the viewer. Just, again, be cautious of relying on hype too much in your commentary. It's situational. If you feel you're not able to deliver enough when it comes to talking about the significance of players, matchups, or the event itself that you're commentating for, then you may want to embed yourself within the scene more just to learn more about what's happening underneath the hood. Out of the three skills I outlined, storytelling is the one that I feel I personally excel at the most, so I'll speak to it the most. I take a lot of inspiration from professional wrestling commentary, because I used to watch Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown every week when growing up, hearing the legends like Jim Ross and Michael Cole week after week. There's a lot to dissect when it comes to professional wrestling commentary and just professional wrestling in general. But one thing I have always found so fascinating about it is how it pulls you in with its storylines, whether it be feuding family members, an unfathomable win streak, or romantic relationships gone wrong. The main way these storylines come across to the viewer beyond them being played out in real time is the commentary explaining the significance of what's going on. Good storytelling ends up shaping out meaning for the entire match, rather than just seeing athletic people clash into each other without context. With that, in my fighting game commentary, I do my best to present storytelling elements about players and the scene during the downtime of the matches. I want the viewer to know what makes the scene or matches I'm talking about so great, and tell the viewer why they should care about what's happening on the screen beyond just, they sure do hit the buttons good. It gives a viewer a bit more investment and lets them get in on the fun and excitement that surrounds the event. You're letting the audience in on taking a peek underneath the hood with you. Once you've established how you want to sound, and can identify where your strengths lie as a commentator, you'll be good to go in leading a charge of individuality that will set you apart from other commentators. It must be stated though, I do think there's actually immense value in watching other commentators. We've already nailed in the point that you shouldn't be aiming to copy another commentator's entire flow, but listening to other commentators is how you can pick up on how other people approach the job, which can give you insight on potential vocabulary you can implement, or just learning more about the game itself. You don't even have to watch commentary for the game you play necessarily. A lot of my favorite commentators are Tekken commentators, and although I dabble in Tekken, it is not my main game at all nowadays, nor is it a game I've given any direct effort in pursuing commentary for. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I haven't studied how Spag effortlessly delivers esoteric knowledge to the viewer using very comprehensive terms, how Tasty Steve and Rip deliver big moments that end up enhancing the experience, and how Eris is able to seamlessly embed his unique personality and jokes into his commentary without it ever feeling off base or getting too far off the topic at hand.
Pressure. Oh man, he smells it. He smells it, and it smells like shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait a second.
It's not over.
Oh, what?
It smells
Oh my
good.
God, it started-
smells good.
The best smelling shit ever.
It smells good. Yeah. Okay. All right.
It's not over.
It's not over yet. That was a Christmas miracle, but we're gonna need 2 more Christmas miracles. So let's
Oh,
go
man,
2
that's a lot.
Christmases of, yeah, let's go. 2020 Christmas worth of miracles
Man,
here.
he's behind by half a life
Yeah,
already.
this is bullshit. Come on now.
My biggest commentary inspiration, though, is none other than Majin Obama, someone who is not only my favorite commentator in the fighting game community, but also just one of my favorite people in the fighting game community, period. Majin Obama has so much authentic and genuine passion for the games he commentates, and you can feel the passion through the screen every time he's on the mic. It is through listening to his commentary that has made me internalize how important it is to love the game you're playing or talking about. Just like there is a difference that shines through when a player loves the game they play, that same difference shines through when a commentator loves the game they talk about. If you want to see peak Majin Obama, I'd be remiss not to mention at least the Guilty Gear Xrd Rev 2 Grand Finals at EVO Japan 2018, if not the entire top 8. Aside from that tournament being an absolute banger, I think the commentary that Majin Obama and TCC provide for this event is straight up the greatest fighting game commentary I have ever heard. It's a must watch in my book.
There's not been instances where we get to see and partake things like that. You guys are in for an actual treat. You guys are in for an actual treat.
Also, this might be a bit more obtuse, but I think there is even value in figuring out what it is you like about some of your favorite speakers outside of fighting game commentary. If you're watching this video, you're probably on YouTube right now, and I'm sure there are quite a few content creators you consume on a daily basis that are some of your favorites for one reason or another. It can be super cool and beneficial to identify what it is you like about the way your favorite content creators speak. What is it about their speech patterns or personality that keeps you coming back? I have taken inspiration from a multitude of my favorite YouTube content creators and have embedded some of their quirks into my commentary. Ludwig's YouTube videos always start with something that hooks you and makes you want to hear him out on the shenanigans he's gotten himself into. If I'm opening a stream, I try to place a hook that catches the viewer's attention to set the stage before we head into the action. Anthony Fantano and Adam Ragusia speak in a way that have them come off as masterful in their music and food feels respectively. And they speak in a way that is fascinating and makes you want to learn more about the topic they know a ton about, even if you know nothing about it. I try my best to really lean into my storytelling elements by giving it as much personal insight I can about player history, matchups, and tournament history to make the viewer feel like they're watching a chapter in a storybook for a game scene rather than just an event in isolation. Dame drops.
Damn.
Yeah, that Dame drops is a charismatic, eccentric, and one-of-a-kind food reviewer who has catchphrases for days and opens his video with the same intro every time to set the mood and make his energy known and present before he even starts talking about the food.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, she made me and Dame drops back in with another super official. Both of you kids, nigga, baby, I know you can't hate. Listen, man.
Dame is who inspired me to do the, well, you know.
What's up, what's good, what's cracking? 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 My name is Kraken. I can do.
Once you're fully set and established in your commentary flow, and the time has come to start applying for positions, my friend, you're gonna need a commentary reel. Yes, this is necessary. Listen, most commentary applications I see do have a line that says if you don't have a reel, you can just link footage of yourself on a stream for review, but I challenge you to not take this seriously. A reel takes effort to create. It can allow for you to compile moments of yourself where you're at your best, rather than just linking a singular match or stream where the tournament organizer has to figure out themselves where you're at your best. Now, your commentary reel doesn't need to be too fancy or too long. My current commentary reel is 5 minutes long with very basic video editing, and I think that's about the maximum amount of time where you want your reel to land. In fact, my current reel might be a little too long. I think the 2 to 4 minute time frame is where you want to land. Mine ends up being 5 minutes because I'm covering a lot of ground with a lot of different games because I commentate a lot of stuff, but I'd say aim for between 2 and 4 minutes. Now, if you're having trouble finding good clips of yourself, don't be afraid to compile clips and have people watch them to gather feedback. Remember, the Hot on Mic Discord server that I mentioned earlier is literally made for this. But I do have a pro tip that your past you is going to thank future you for. You know what you need to do anytime you smoke a commentary session? Like, if you just laid down straight bars on the mic, you stand up afterwards and you say to yourself, damn, I'm nice. While that session is still fresh in your brain, pull out your phone and go wherever you take notes. I don't care if it's a Discord server, a notes app, or even if you have to send a text message to yourself. And just simply type out which event you just did where the commentary was fire. It's even better if you're able to type in the specific matches where you feel your commentary was exemplary. I do this for my reels all the time. Once I commentated Cam Dinar versus Yui at Combo Breaker 2023, after the match I said to myself, yup, that's one for the reel for sure.
Cam with sonic speed trying to ride their way to victory if at all possible. Yui trying to close out.
Oh my God!
Cam Dinar! Cam Dinar is still in this! We are tied up 2-2 with the solo set comeback from the brink of death! No resonance! No options, but I still have the orb, I still have heart. We're going to a game 5!
And tip myself a message to make sure I remember. Also, be sure to use the tips about commentary styles to your advantage when making your reel. If you're not an analytical commentator, don't make a reel that only highlights your analysis. Don't try to predict or make assumptions about what tournament organizers are looking for in their commentators, and focus more on presenting the best version of yourself. For example, I feel my strengths are big moments, storytelling, and post or pre-match analysis. So most of the footage in my reels focus on that. For my current 2024 reel, about half of it is dedicated to top 8 intros, award ceremonies, and post or pre-match banter. The other half is dedicated to actual play-by-play commentary. So long as you're delivering a reel that is showing you at your best, doing whatever skill you feel you do best, that's really going to deliver the best reel. And that pretty much does it. So again, for a quick review, the step-by-step process I recommend you follow if you're looking to become a fighting game commentator is to figure out what you like to commentate, find commentary positions or create them for yourself if need be, figure out how you'd like to sound, listen to other commentators and content creators, and absorb what works for them on a constructive level, rather than a pure mimic level. And make a banger commentary reel that exemplifies your strengths once you learn what your strengths are. Those are the steps, but really, we can chalk down the video to one step if you're looking to become a fighting game commentator and you don't know how. That one step is go out and do it. The positions are there, the need is there, you just need to make that lane for yourself and pursue it. I hope it works out for you. Be sure to check the links in the description of this video as I've provided a list of the resources I mentioned here, as well as a couple of other valuable videos from Sajam that I've watched regarding commentary that have been useful to me. Most importantly, let me know if this video has helped you out. I made this video because I'm often asked for commentary tips, and I'm an open book when it comes to sharing knowledge, but I wanted something out there that's consumable and digestible as opposed to a wall of text. I genuinely hope this helps. Thanks for watching.